Welcome to the Ignorance is Strength podcast. I'm your host, Fabian motherfucking Ojeda, and I don't know shit, but that's okay. All right, let's get this shit started. Thank you everybody for listening to the Ignorance is Strength podcast. Hope you all enjoyed episode number 82, which we're now calling, I guess, the Shark Show, with our good friends Potter and Sosa there. And we'll be back definitely for every 10 episode shit show. Get a little bit of perspective there and get Whitey back in the mix. We're back today with a brand new guest, and I'm excited to talk to this guy. He's got a bunch of interesting food up on his Instagram. I want to talk to the blogger behind Project Food, Mr. Erik Sosa. How you doing?
Oh man, it's a blast to be here, honestly. Thank you, and thank you to everyone who's listening and watching and supporting this wonderful podcast, because you're doing some big things, man. You're doing some big things.
I'm like, we had another Sosa on for the last episode. No relation. So for those listening, no, let me clear that up. It's not the same person. But what you're doing on Instagram is called Project Food, right? Talk a little bit of like what it is exactly, because I saw it and immediately I'm like, man, I gotta talk to that
guy. Well, basically, what Project Food is we're focused mainly just on providing the best content for our viewers, where they can go and support small businesses. That's really what we're focused on. It's just really like small businesses, and we want to just give more audience to them. We want to bring more people to them because, they're cranking it out. They're helping their families, and, this is like a job or a passion that they didn't even think they had, and from them working at their day job and then coming at night and seeing their spirits just light up and the livelihood just increase, and they're just happy what they do, even though sometimes it can get stressful. And that's something that we want to show people,
Yeah. Actually, I saw your profile first. You were at Taco Sauce with my old wrestling coach, Ray Castellanos, doing his thing out there in South El Monte.
Yeah, Coach Ray, man, he's the best.
How'd you hear about Taco Sauce?
Well, it's funny because I'll usually go on Instagram and see what food vendors or what small businesses that we can help. And I found Taco Sauce just literally looking through Instagram, and I saw that he had this taco called the Sauce Attack, and I was just kind of like, whoa, like that's a huge taco. Like I can't even just like explain how big it is. It's probably like bigger than your head if you picture it. But it was amazing. I DM'd him. I was like, hey, like, let's shoot some content. Let's see what's up. And, since then I've gone back multiple times. I bring some of my friends and family. We go there and, we just have a good time, honestly, with Coach. He's amazing. And the crazy thing is how he went from like a tent, little pop-up, and then he got his little mini cart. And then from the cart, he now has his own restaurant. Like, that's insane. I love it.
Yeah, I was there when they were doing the little what do you call it? The little trailer. He's trying to get that spot ready for a while, man. But it's cool. See, so it's like highlighting people like Ray, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people like that out there. And this has become a thing. I think from my opinion, I've seen this whole pop-up food thing grow just out of the pandemic. Like it seems like where restaurants and and not no fault of their own, because hey, they shut down because of regulations and whatnot. But where restaurants failed us, for lack of a better word, the people started to feed the need, and you see pop-ups everywhere now. Every night, all kinds of different food. Before it used to just be maybe tacos, maybe hot dog vendors.
Exactly.
And now it's everything you can possibly think of. Did you notice the same kind of trend throughout the pandemic, or where did it really start?
Yeah, so it's funny you asked, because we actually started during COVID. I was just thinking to myself, like, how can I be of service to people, and how can I just help them more? And as a kid growing up, I was always into watching the Food Network
Oh
and
yeah.
seeing like diners, drive-ins, and dives, and Guy Fieri going to all these places and these brick and mortar shops. The Unwrapped show where they just talk about how food was made and like how snacks and Twinkies and whatever. And then like Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations. You know, rest in peace to him. That guy was amazing. And just the whole idea of just being surrounded by food and trying all these different cultures, because ultimately with everything that's going on in this world, the one thing that we all share in common is food.
Yeah.
We need that, you know. And the cool thing about it is that everyone makes it different, and it's like the best, because you can never go to the two places that serve the same thing and one is always going to be better than the other, or they're always going to have their differences, and that makes you go back and basically, you know, seeing how it was, like how you were saying, it started from tacos and burritos, and now we have like Cajun food. Like there's a pop-up that I went to and they're doing shrimp in a bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know, shout out to Crawdaddy and San Bernardino. Like he's doing shrimp in a bag. And then there's you know, they're doing smash burgers now, and there's so many different varieties, and it's awesome to see it.
I'll tell you, you know, I was actually unfortunately laid off during the start of the pandemic, just for a little bit, you know, and
Okay.
I'm like, you know, what can I do? And I saw everybody start their food little pop-ups. I did, you know, I did a barbecue for about
You
a
did.
month. Yeah, and it was cool, man. Just like, you know, not even the whole making money part, because it's like, I didn't charge much. I just wanted to see, can I do it?
Yeah.
You know,
Dude, that's awesome.
if I made $1 more than what I spent on the ingredients, I'm like, cool. You know, I broke even, whatever. You know, but I wanted to just see, like, you know, will people enjoy it? You know, can I get the word out? And it was cool, man, because you know, people loved it and they were waiting for it, and it's a cool feeling to know that they love what you're making, and like that's like, for some people it's like that's my new Saturday spot, you know. And I'd never sold food before, you know. I'm a big connoisseur of it, but I'm like, you know, I'm not a pro, you know, but I wanted to do everything right. It seems to me though that and I don't know if any of the vendors are experiencing this right now. I stopped, I mean, because I got a new job where I was very busy, but it seems it's really hard to get like licensing and to do things legit though. I mean, does that seem to be a problem with some of them? Because I know a lot of them are getting shut down too.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does suck to see some vendors, you know, that are there producing and they're making a legal living. It's nothing like they're not slinging, they're not doing anything out of the ordinary that makes it suspicious. Like they're just serving food, you know, and their passion. And it sucks to see some of the vendors get mistreated. I mean, there are a couple of vendors that, you know, law enforcement did come in and they threw away their product and basically told them, you got to get out of here, and charged them a heavy fine, you know. And it's something that has to happen in the back end where, you know, things become speeded up with, you know, the licensing and the permissions to go out there, because from what it looks like, a lot of people are just waiting, you know. But at the same time, this is their income. This is what they need to do. So it's like, well, we can't wait for them to approve of us doing this. Like we have to do this now. Something has to happen up there. Whoever's approving it, they got to go faster, man. Because these people are coming out like hotcakes.
And you know, though, I think the thing that to me is the most, you know, like I love to see is that there's still a will. Like where there's a will, there's a way, and the people still crank the food out and get it out there. Now I'm gonna assume with a name like Sosa, you're Hispanic, right?
Yeah. My mom's from here in America, and my dad's from a place called Yucatan or Merida. So we're from out there. So yeah, you can say.
And you know, I talk to a lot of people that, you know, we're Hispanic, and we say, like, a lot of the time, man, we have that negativity in our cultures where we're haters, man. We're just like, we see somebody else rising up, and we're like, oh no, we got to do better than them, or we want to acknowledge their success. This is not the case here, though. No, you know, with the food, everybody has a place at the table.
Yes.
and you'll see like other vendors pointing you toward another vendor saying, oh,
Mm-hmm.
their birria is really good, or
Mm-hmm.
their fish is really good, whatever they're making, and that's to me that's unique. I have not seen that type of support in the community myself for anything other than this food.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about it is with everything, like, they're always getting pointed to the direction they need to go. There's always someone there to help them. And that's the one thing that I'm seeing is like all the vendors, there's no hate towards the vendors.
Right.
There's just love, and they just know like, hey, we're in this together. When vendors get shut down, there's other vendors that come in and help them recoup all the things they lost.
Mm.
And it's just a big community that like I see that's growing. And right now I feel like we're like in an infancy state where everyone's getting used to everything. Okay, and then as the years go by and more relationships get established, like I think the food vendor space, or the mobile food vendor space, is just going to be one big family. And that's something that like warms my heart, honestly, because there's nothing like family. You know what I mean?
For sure. Now, you probably are a good friend to have, Eric, because you always have the right place to eat, right? If somebody says like, shit, I'm craving pizza, I know a place. If I'm craving a burger. How many places have you like I guess reviewed or highlighted in your Instagram about?
um right now I believe I'm sitting like on 160 videos.
Woo.
I was just doing photos before then,
Mhm.
and just uploading on Instagram. And I was just a little like just nervous to be in front of the camera or talk to the camera.
Mhm.
But shout out to my sister and my lady. They were like, you need to do videos, and because photos are the thing of the past. And I'm just kind
Uh-huh.
of like, okay, let's try it out. And one thing led to another. Videos obviously do more justice because you can show more and
Yeah.
do a lot more things. And um yeah, I have like 160 spots, and it's growing. I still have other spots that I need to upload that I have in the vault. Don't get me wrong though, there are some vendors that I've been to, and they just didn't hit. They didn't, all the places that I've been to, I've loved so far. But there's some vendors that like, the food just wasn't there,
Right.
and it's all, the energy wasn't there. And it's just like, I wouldn't want to have someone come here and, they don't like the way they're treated, or the food
Mhm.
is just bland. And so, yeah, if you ever need a spot to go look at, I mean, shoot, there's been so many good places, like you have no idea.
So for the ones with low energy or just that are bad, you just don't highlight them, or do you still do like a highlight and a review?
I've been thinking about highlighting them. I just don't want to cause any drama.
Right,
You
because
know
your
what I
thing is
mean?
more positivity and all that, right?
Yeah, I just want to bring people up, and I just want to lift others and show other people, and show others where's a good spot to eat.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I haven't showed them yet, just because it's like, well, I don't want to show them if you're not gonna go.
Right.
And then I
Hey,
don't want you, and then sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
go
like,
for it.
and I don't want them to like join in on it and make it something bigger than what it really is. You know what I mean?
I think about this because I don't do videos too much. I stick to the podcast, right? But for a couple episodes, a friend of mine who did the podcast and we try to do like a food review type of thing, and it was
Yeah.
just it was a bit of a mess at first, because we put the three best pizza places in El Monte up against each other,
Uh-huh.
and we know people from each of them and whatnot. We go there all the time, or
Yep.
and we when we ranked them 1 to 3, they got a little upset.
Yeah.
Um, especially when we showed like, oh, your toppings fell off or something like that. So
Yeah.
it was like, maybe this isn't the best idea. You don't want to get blackballed, or the next time you order your pizza, it's got a little extra, pubic hair on it or some shit like that. But
Yeah, and that's the one thing. That's the one thing that it. You build relationships with these people. You know the owner personally. You talk to the workers there, and that's the one thing is like, well, I don't want to showcase a rating or do like showcase the bad ones, because then what happens if I go? What if happens if I'm at an event and they're there?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Or what if they tell their other food vendor friends about me? You know, I haven't even been to these. I haven't even found these spots or tried them out. So I don't want them to already give me a bad experience from the get go.
Oh, for sure.
So I mean, I just try to encourage people like, hey, go, look for them. They're out there. You know what I mean? Like you can have me as a reliable source, but if there's another spot that you would like me to try that you've been to, let me know. You know what I mean?
So over 100 places highlighted.
Yeah,
How do you pay for all of these, man? That's like got to be a lot of money because listen, here's the one thing I am critical about with the pop-ups, right? I love what they're doing. I love that they're making a living, but they're trying to charge like beyond restaurant prices, some of them, when I did my barbecue plates, I wanted to make sure nothing's over $20, and that was like reasonable for somebody because
yeah,
I'm thinking about myself. I'm like, I don't want to spend more than 20 on something, but you got people out there selling, bacon wrapped hot dogs for $8. Like, come on, that's ridiculous.
yeah.
Or a burger for $10 is like, yeah, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. But do they comp it for you, or are you out there spending 20, $30 a week?
Man, um, it's there comes a price because even if I try to do this, and promote and help out. So even if like uh I go there, like I still pay for the meal because I want to support them obviously as much as I can. So I'll still pay for the meal. It can be $30, $40. I think the most I ever spent for a video on food was just like $150.
Ooh,
Yeah, it was at a tempiyaki spot. But I mean, granted, I invited some friends
right.
and we all ate. So I paid for everybody. We're all chilling, everything's cool. Um, but yeah, it comes to a point where it's like, the prices can be a little pricey.
Mm,
But also too, we have to take into consideration that the food cost is rising as well.
that's true.
The food cost is rising, the amount of it takes to get supplies. There was a post that went viral and it was basically talking about how a chicken wings for a 10-pound bag or a 15-pound bag was like $45, and now that same 10-pound bag is $250.
Yeah. Mm,
So now go figure, if they raise their prices by $1 or two. Okay, like, yeah, we're not used to the change, but we also, we have to think about that as well. Like if they keep their prices the same, then they have to do more volume. But a lot of times that's already stressful enough for vendors, right? So they they have to figure out something, and the only thing that they can do is just raise the price. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's worth it.
mm.
Makes your food taste a little better.
Nice. Um, I've noticed in the pop-up world right now, there's some items that are just like very trendy again, it's kind of one of those things that just happened like during the pandemic, and some of those have been like birria, that's all over the place now. They're infusing it with everything you see.
Yeah,
The other I think would be kind of like the what do you call it? Kind of like the Benihana style food,
tempiyaki, hibachi.
hibachi. There you go. Yeah, and the smash burgers have really kind of like been more of a like I like the big juicy fat burgers, but smash burgers have been more of a thing now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you find so many crazy pop-ups. I mean, if you think about it, 2, 3 years ago, did we have the elotero? The
Mm-hmm.
OG of them all. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
He is the OG. And then you have the hot dog man in downtown LA.
Yep. Yep.
You have the taco man in downtown LA. The food scene here in Cali kind of exploded during COVID because, I took a trip out to New York and it really inspired me because you go there and they have a bunch of different food trucks. They have basically what we have here, pupusas on the corner. And you go to every different part of New York and it's, there's a food vendor there serving food from their culture,
Mm.
So here in Cali, it was just like, the three basic things. And then now it exploded to where people are getting creative and they're creating something for them. I mean, like, think like there was never a hot chicken pop-up.
Right.
You know what I mean? There was never dough. Like you can get a pizza from someone's truck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can get mini donuts on the side of the road. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? funnel cakes. You can, there's so many different things now, and you wouldn't find that 2 years ago. And if it did, it was very secluded, very private. Only a select amount of people are coming. But now it's like it's opened the gates to anything is possible. If you have a recipe from your family that you think is like bangered, and you want to give it to people, like the food is the best way. Like how you were doing barbecue, you must be a guy that loves barbecue, because if you didn't like it that much, you wouldn't share it with anyone.
Right.
You know what I mean? And man, I wish I knew you when you were making barbecue. We got to make some barbecue, man.
Yeah, either that or get my gumbo out there. I'm pretty good at gumbo too.
Please.
Now, of any of those trends or anything else, what has been a favorite of yours so far? Like when you go to one of these pop-ups, like you've got to have a preference, right? Like something you must be thinking like, damn, I'm trying to get this, media or pizza or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna be flat out honest. Media has been my favorite. I think I've covered at least like 6 or 7. I think like eight different media spots. But they all taste different. It's crazy. I can rank them like from the least amount that I like to the most, but the media is so like I just don't know what it's about. Like the tenderness from the meat, you dip it in the consommé.
Yep.
You get the consommé all spicy. You put the cebolla, cilantro. My favorite are queso dorados. Those, if I see it at a pop-up, I have to get it. Like, I have to try their queso dorados. I like mine super crunchy. You get the crunch from the tortilla, and then the cheese, and then the meat, and all of its juices. You got me there. And then like second will be like smash burgers.
Nice. Yeah. But now even with like video, man, they're mixing it with everything, like with ramen, out here, Rose City Pizza, they have the birria pizza, like
birria calzones. I saw that the other day. I was like, what the heck?
It's a different world in the culinary world there. Now when it comes to it, like, making these videos, it's a lot of work, and you seem to be pretty consistent with it. Do you plan to do anything else with these videos? You keep it on Instagram? Are you doing a YouTube? Or, I mean, do you aspire to do anything bigger with it?
Yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of things in the works for Project Food. I'm just praying every day, just asking our Father, what can we do? I try to be as consistent as possible with uploads. And, the one thing that I have the hardest time with is just finding the spot. Because sometimes I don't look on Instagram and I just drive around. And sometimes I can be driving for like 20, 30 minutes and I don't find anything. And I'm just kind of like, maybe I'm in a wrong area, So I just try to stay as consistent as possible. Just try to keep showing people new places every day. And, just try to take people along for the ride and the experience. And I do have a YouTube, but I don't really upload. I uploaded like some beginning, like when I first started, and sometimes I go back and look at it and I'm just like, man, what is this guy doing? It's so cringe, but yeah, I do. I'm gonna start uploading on YouTube a lot more. I do have more things in the works, and I'm pretty excited.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, hopefully get some sort of series like one of those Guy Fieri type of shows, man. I really get that I know it's a quick snippet, but I really get like that energy from those videos. Is like, you're getting a lot out there within just like 15 seconds.
Yeah. Being that our attention span is so like people's attention span is like slowly coming down, and it's like, how can I show as much in the time that I have? And then I have like literally this gap where it's like I have to fit all these different things. And it can get stressful because, you want to make sure it's what people want to see, So I try to think of myself as the viewer, and it's like, okay, that's hard because people want different things, So I'm like, all right, let me show everything and then just pray that people go there.
Yeah. Now, as far as location, like, I'm wondering where you're located at, because I've seen your videos, and you've got food from the IE, from Omani, from Kudai, and all over the place, man. Fucking Rialto. It's like, dang.
This man's been everywhere.
Where are you located? Yeah.
So I'm here located in the city of Pomona. I have Irvine. I have not Irvine. I have Laverne, Montclair. I have Chino Hills. I have Chino. Then we have Ontario. So I'm like in the middle of everything. And it's funny you say that because a lot of times whenever I go, like whenever I talk to a vendor, they're like, "Oh, I was looking at your page and you've been everywhere," and I'm just like, "Yeah, I drive for food. I drove all the way to. I think the furthest I've driven was San Diego.
Oh, shit.
Drove all the way to San Diego for some amazing fish tacos. And the cool thing is this man was doing it with the dip, like everyone's using like cod for their fish tacos, and this man's using a other type of fish that like no one's using, and it's like these people get creative. But yeah, I drive everywhere. Honestly, it don't matter to me. Let's go see what's out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know how many places you've done it on Wani, man, but that place is live with food. I noticed. I remember when I started. I'm not a big social media person. I just started it for the podcast, right? And so when I jumped onto Instagram for the podcast, I was like, oh, cool. There's an Almani, kind of like a food vendor type of thing. Let me click on this, and then they was like, oh, here's a cheesecake place. Oh, my friend's doing, his fish tacos and cheesesteak sandwiches. Oh, somebody's doing a burger thing, and it's like every other person is doing something, man. And again, everybody has a seat at the table because it's a different type of food. They're doing the candies and somebody's doing like a fucking mix for alcohol and stuff. And it's like, they have everything, man. And this is really, I think it's, I'm biased because I grew up in Omani. You lived in Pomona too for a bit. The hookers were my neighbors on Holt, but that's a different story.
That is for a different story.
That was a much different story. Yeah. But I am a little biased because I grew up in Omani. But that's a hot spot right now, man. I think, there's a lot to be discovered there. And I've actually, on the podcast have wanted to connect with people. And I'm probably going to put some of the vendors on within the coming weeks and let them talk about what they're doing with their food and everything. But check out Omani more often if you get a chance, man.
I got you. I'm gonna write that down. And whenever I come back from home, I'll be starting looking for places in Omani, man. I got you.
For sure. Now, as far as again, I know we mentioned some goals, but is there anything else you want to throw out there that you're all about as far as Project Food? Is there any sort of mission, or any sort, or has it gotten to that point like that it's that deep yet, or are you still trying to figure it out?
Well, I do have it's not really necessarily like an end goal, because once it stops, I never want to stop doing this. This is amazing. Like the fact that I can just connect with these vendors and just be able to help them, help them in an area that they don't really know how to do it or what to do. And, we come in and we help them and we build something for them or whatever the case may be. Starting Project Food, I've seen so many different areas that, we can evolve into, you know what I mean? Like, I started it off as let's showcase people where to find good eats, but also too, we can do something on the side where, we help the vendors moreover, we help them with anything they need possible. If they need a location, we can help them find it. If they need designs, we can help them design it, whatever the case may be. Now it's turning into something different. Like when I first started, I just thought, okay, I'm going to film and we call it a day. And then as it slowly started evolving and, I started talking to more businesses and doing all, and just, connecting with everyone. I started seeing like real opportunity, like, no, we can turn this into something where we can have great relationships with everyone and everyone's winning. You know what I mean? So Yeah, it's honestly, we're just getting started.
So I mean, what I'm hearing is kind of like a one-stop shop where you can help for all their needs. That's what you're kind of looking into.
Exactly. Exactly. And we do this all, and I'm gonna have we're gonna do it the right way, the legit way. We're gonna make sure that everyone's taken care of. There's no favorites. We love everybody, and we just want to see everyone grow and prosper. Honestly, because we at Project Food, I have this. I always think about it from a vendor's perspective. Like they have one stand right now, but imagine if they had two stands or three stands, and we get the word out like, hey, these guys have multiple locations, so now they're just not stuck at one spot. They can be selling in another city, and they're providing jobs to people. They're providing income. People are depending on them, so it's going to make them, want to do more and help more. And so that's what we want to start for vendors. Honestly, it's just to help them grow and expand to multiple different locations.
Yeah. Nice, man. All right. Well, when it comes to somebody who eats a bunch of different food, I imagine you're not too picky, man. Is there anything you won't eat? Because like I look, I have people who don't like onions. I'm like, you don't like onions, you're fucked. Like you don't like anything, because onions are fucking amazing and they're in everything, you
Yeah,
know. But like, is there any food you're like, nah, I'm not doing that.
seafood, but it depends on the seafood.
Oh.
Yeah. So like octopus and like any type of fish that doesn't have to do with like a whole pescado frito
Oh.
or shrimp or crawfish, um and lobster. But everything else I cannot like. I just probably won't get it, or I'll look for something else. Like you go to San Pedro and you can get all these trays of fish with a bunch of different items, and I'm just kind of like, no, just give me the one with the shrimp. I'm cool. Like,
How about
can't
some
do it.
fried calamari? Even how about something like that?
No, can't do that. I
What?
don't
Oh
know.
man.
Like, it's crazy. I didn't like, but the one thing that's changed my mind is the salsas. The
Mm,
salsas that they use, man, some of them I had spicy. One time I had a salsa and this guy used ghost peppers
yeah.
as his base. And I was
Oh,
like, I just
that's
had
harsh.
ghost pepper. And my lips, oh my gosh. I was like, this is insane. Heck no.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The only time I didn't finish a burger in my life was when it had. Check this out. It was at a Gorilla Mall in Alhambra, right?
Okay.
And it had like a ghost pepper infused cheese with a
Oh,
ghost pepper sauce, like ghost pepper everywhere, right? And I'm fucking dying trying to eat this thing. I'm like, I'm not gonna let the burger defeat me. It beat me. I was like, I've never been beat by a burger before.
oh
So,
man. Then she lost this.
yeah.
That's the one thing I don't like about food sometimes is that the salsa can be too overpowering or too spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that it just ruins the whole dish. Like I don't really go for dishes that are so spicy that they're covered in salsa or they're covered in spicy, mixes,
Mm-hmm.
because then like every time I take a bite, I already know what I'm getting myself into.
It's labor, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm still hungry and I want to still keep eating, but this food is just so hot that I just like, you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I don't understand how people can do like those food challenges and they're eating like the hottest thing ever, and I'm just kind of like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. Well, now, you know, it sounds like you'll do everything else. You'll do like sushi, maybe. You'll do
Oh yeah,
like
yeah. I didn't really like fuck with sushi, but I had a street vendor that gave me sushi, and it like changed my view. It was like fire. It was straight fire. I was like, wow, that's insane. From the street,
yeah, from that's kind of different, man. Fucking sushi from the street, like, huh?
yeah. Shout out to Wincho and Sushi on Instagram. These guys, they do sushi street food. Like, who does that? You don't think
Uh
of getting street like sushi from the street because you don't think like kind of skeptical, like,
Was
I don't
it
know how I
fresh?
feel about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But it's fresh. Every item, everything's fresh. Nothing, you can
Mhm.
see it right there. Like they're making it in your face. Like it's not
Nice.
pre-made. It's not anything like that. And it's like this is what I love about street food. People
Mhm.
always changing up the game.
Now, last question I want to ask with regards to the food. Um, Obviously, you enjoyed most of them. You talked them up, you built them up. Is there one that you always return to, or one or two, maybe like a handful that you return to? Like, I have to go back to these every, every couple weeks, every month, or every now and then.
Mm. There's one. There's two of them. So there's a new one that I just found. It's called Bok Bok Chicken LA.
Hmm.
They have probably one of the best chicken sandwiches I've had. Um, it's like the chicken sandwich is literally bigger than your head. It's kind
Nice.
of hard to eat it, but
Uh-huh.
it is amazing. Um, and then there's a spot in LA called Birria Ranchitos.
Hmm.
Like the prices are so cheap. Like it's like $1.50 for a birria taco with cheese. Unheard of. Everywhere they
Oh.
charge $3 or $4. And they're doing it off of their backyard. They're doing it from their front yard. It's like on Universal. Oh my gosh, their birria is like it's passed down from 4 generations.
Mhm.
So this used to be just a family thing that they would get at parties, but now they started they started business through COVID, and yeah, like that's like one of the spots that I love going back to. Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna check those out, man. Yeah, I was like, at some point I thought like, oh, I might want to do like a weekly food review, and then a couple things. I'm like, well, one, I'm like, I'm gonna go broke. Two, I'm too fucking lazy, and three, I'm not patient, man. I know. I imagine sometimes you gotta stand around for quite a bit at these places. And I'm like, no, I want my shit now. That's a. But I wish they would do like DoorDash or something with those because I would really enjoy trying some of those new places. But
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I was like, but we'll see if that's even ever possible.
Who knows? I mean, if they ever make like a street food section, I think it would blow up. But
Hmm.
that's the one thing that like I want to help business vendors or vendors itself do is just grow to that point where they're able to have their own delivery or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Um, there's this crazy app that I found. It's called Food Gnome, and you can
Hmm.
literally order food from someone's house.
Hmm.
Yeah, like these people are certified. They have all their, safety certifications, everything, but they serve you from their home. And when it's ready, you just go pick it up at their house.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I had this guy was selling pho from his house
Oh man,
in Moreno Valley. I was just kind of like, yeah, this is insane.
must be some good fun to have to go out to Moreno Valley.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That I'm not really a big pho guy because I just don't like the consistency of the noodles. But
I
they
tell
had
people
like the
the same thing all the time, man. Before you jump into that, I tell people the same thing all the time. I'm not a big fun guy. Go on, man. I'm like,
yeah.
hey,
I'm not a big pho guy. Like honestly, like when it comes to soup, the only soups that I want to have are like ramen or like pozole or like
yeah,
calderes.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like their fun, their fun was pretty good. I mean, definitely haven't been to a lot of pho places, but if out of all the pho places I've tried, they're probably one of the best because they do like a different like southern twist to it, which like
Mm,
which gave it a better flavor than what I'm used to having.
I see. Yeah, I'm like, well, maybe they'll win me over one day, man. But I remember just having it
Yeah,
and being so generic. I'm like, where's the
so
flavor?
bland.
They're like, oh, you got to do it up like put all the stuff in it like you would pozole. I'm like, pozole is good, man, even with
Pozole
nothing.
tastes good without anything. No
Yeah.
limon, no cal, no repollo,
Uh.
cilantro. Like it tastes good like that, and then pho is
Uh.
just bland beef
It's hot
with.
water. I'm like, it's hot water
Thank
with
you, thank
little
you.
strip with a little strip of cardboard beef, and they throw
That's
tendons in
funny,
there. I'm like, who wants to eat tendons?
right? Like
Uh,
it's good, but when it got flavor,
I'm like,
that's when it's good.
I'm sorry to all my Vietnamese friends listening. Pho is not good. uh,
Get put more flavor into it, please.
yeah, I'll gladly give it another try. But Eric, is there anything else you want to throw out there to the podcast world, man?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys ever looking for some good spots, be sure to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Project Food TV. Merch coming soon. We're getting the website put together, so we can have like a little blog area that's dedicated to Project Food. And if you have any spots, feel free to DM me. Let me know.
Especially
I'll gladly.
if you are a vendor too, right?
Yeah, if you are a vendor, DM me. We can make something happen. And I'm here for you guys. So that's really about it. I love all my vendor homies.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah,
Shout
well,
out to Copy by Sergio. Oh, they
Coffee by
probably can't
Sosa.
see it, but Copy by Sergio, one of the best iced coffees that I've had. Better than
Where's that
Starbucks.
from? I love iced coffee. Where's that from? What city?
He's here in Pomona, but
Nice.
he'll post up either like in Ontario or mostly in Ontario where he posts up.
All right. Cool, man. Well, shit, I enjoyed listening to your food journeys there. I'm looking forward to more. And I really hope people listen and they give you a follow and check it out, man, because that's what it's all about, spreading the word. You're spreading the word of all these businesses. I'm just trying to get interesting people with their shit out there, man.
And thank you for everything, brother. I appreciate it.
For sure. For everybody listening at home, I appreciate it. Thank you. Fuck you and good night. Subscribe to the Ignorance is Strength podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Like, follow, and share on Facebook and Instagram at Ignorance is Strength Podcast and on Twitter at The Ignorance Pod.